What's up, everybody? Uh, I've been doing. I've not been accomplishing much. I got back from driving all the way to Michigan and back, averaging like 500 miles a day. And when I got here, I just kind of ended up, you know, staying in one place a lot. Anyway, so much is going on. Biden dropped out of the race. They're talking about who's going to go with him. Of course, the horrible leader of the Republican Party was shot at by a Republican, raised by a Republican, a Trump supporter. That kid, you figure like almost 10 years, 10 formative years of his were being raised in a Republican household. Anyway, so anyway, that's not very funny. But Biden dropping out is certainly interesting because Kamala Harris, and that's an interesting thing. You're going to hear a lot of racist people. You know they're racist when they say Kamala because they're trying to act like they just don't know how to pronounce a black lady's name or something. But they know what they're doing, and it's just a way to be rude and disrespectful, but also a little bit racist. And so you'll be hearing a lot of that. That's interesting. You already are. Oh man, did I see some an ugly comment? Like I was watching ABC when it first came out, and it was like a primate comment, like, you know, we're going back in time, or something like that. Or anyway, it was pretty rude, pretty incredibly racist, directed towards Miss Harris. So that was a little bit surprising because it was so rude. And now they're talking about all the potential vice president picks, and there's 3 in there that haven't been mentioned that I think are 3 of the most compelling choices, and they're all women. Katie Porter, she is just so smart and so tough and so capable and so good. And then there's Jasmine Crockett, the one that put Marjorie Taylor Greene in her place. She would be amazing. She's an attorney from Texas. You know, she would just be deadly, smart as a whip. And then, of course, AOC, no one's mentioned her. But Gavin Newsom would be a pretty lethal choice, even though both of them would be from California. I'm sure that's going to be the compelling reason not to choose him if he's not chosen, which he very well may not be. Andy Bashir is probably going to seem like a good idea, but he's not that well known. But he is from Kentucky. So, you know, that might help sway some, you know, people from states that wouldn't have been persuadable. So yeah, it's crazy. But now we can relax about Biden, you know, dying suddenly. Trump might die suddenly. Vance might be thrust into the freaking #1 spot. That could happen. Don't think that it isn't possible. It's just really interesting what's going on. But she's certainly going to seem more capable than Trump now that, you know, there's somebody running against him that's not elderly. Oh man, then after those recent attacks, or the older, whenever those attacks were made by J.D. Vance about cat ladies and you know, people who haven't had children or don't have children and stuff like that. Like, anyway, it's gonna get interesting real quick. So yeah, I'm gonna put the camera on the ocean out here, and then go down there and try to get some exercise, either in the pool or in the ocean, even if it is a little bit at dusk. I'll hug the shore. That'll, there's no sharks anywhere near the shore, so um, and I'm bigger than all the reef sharks. so yeah. What else? It's interesting. I saw somebody in the news say, I wonder why Netflix charges $15.49. That seems odd. Well, let me explain. They sell $60 cards. Right? They don't sell $61.96 cards, which would be 4 months exactly. Or they don't sell it for $15, which would be now they do $15.49. That way, at the end of 3 months, you don't have enough for your 4th month when you bought a $60 card, and you got to get another one, and then you just keep, yeah. There's just this excess that sits out there. So that's what Netflix is doing with their $15.49. If they had any compassion at all, their little cards will be sold at $61.96. Anyway, so what else? So yes, to the subject, to support me in my doing nothingness. I just spent several days doing nothing. I don't think I left the house really much at all for 4 or 5 days. But during that time, I watched a nice story on 60 Minutes. And you know it's an important story if it's on 60 Minutes. And it was about how this one lady never learned to do nothing. And that doing nothing is really important. Also heard that on like radio ads for Kaiser Hospital saying, you know, do you like to take a nap behind your desk at lunch? Well, keep doing that. Stuff like that. Anyway. So, you know, maybe it was good for me to do nothing. Nevertheless, I haven't been exercising enough, and I need to. And but I have been eating really healthy, exercising some. I have not been consuming alcohol at all. So, at least I got that going for me. So, if I can encourage you to eat right and exercise as well, you know, that's how you really make the world a better place. You make yourself healthier, and then you have more to give to your family, to your community, to your employer, to your business, to your laziness. Anyway, all right. I really like that expression, vote blue no matter who. I think everything's going to be working out all right with all that. It's going to be interesting, though. But that was, I think, one of Hillary's big mistakes. Oh, Bernie. What about Bernie? That'd be sweet. God dang it. Make Bernie your freaking vice. But that's what Hillary needed to do, right? If she'd just taken on a power hitter that she'd been going against, like Bernie or, I don't know, whoever else the power hitters were back then. But she went with a pretty meek, weak kind of vice president choice, someone that wasn't well known. And so let's hope that Kamala, you know, goes after somebody that can kick ass and take names, like any of those people I mentioned. Gavin Newsom could certainly do that, though. There's no doubt about it. But man, can you imagine Jasmine Crockett, a all-female ticket, one that's half black, or I'm not sure what Kamala Harris is. It doesn't matter really, but man, anyway, whether it was AOC, you know, Jasmine Crockett, or Katie Porter, I mean, it would just be such a dynamic and interesting ticket. But none of those women are being considered. I don't know why. Of course, the dude might be good in some ways. And Gavin Newsom is pretty badass, man. He's a smart fella. Happens to be someone who grew up in Marin County, went to Redwood High School. My 2 cousins went to Redwood High School on, I think, either side of him. I think my cousin might be his class, or one behind him or ahead, and then, or one behind him, and then my other cousin is like 2 years older than him because he's like 57. I think I'm 55, and I think my cousin Adrian was a class of '86, or is 56 probably now, and then my cousin Dana is like 59. So yeah. Anyway, Gavin Newsom is pretty tough, and he knows how to work those. Work. He can kick ass in a debate, and he's got a high IQ, and but he's Californian, and there is that anti-California bias. They would play that up, guaranteed. They would make it all about it. They would prosecute the case just like Ron DeSantis prosecuted the case against Disney. It would be just everybody against California. So we'll see, man. It's gonna be really interesting to see who is shoots. You know what I'm gonna do? Put this on TV so I can see myself. And I'll put one TV on like the news or something. Oh yeah, if I put myself up there, then I can read this shit. It'll be readable. By the way, that was just a shameless attempt to get viewers saying breaking news: Biden dropped out of the race. I should have done that like 6 hours ago, but I'm so lazy. I slept a bunch and ate a bunch, and I haven't been showing you my meals. I've been cooking some kick-ass shit, and I should be showing it to you, but I haven't been, which isn't good. I am this week. I need to get a lot done. I'm going to drive across the United States again. My daughter, I'm just lucky. I figure my daughter wants to spend time with her father, right? She's in her 20s, and she's just moved away. It's going to school. Her mom figured out how to get her out of the house, promising her all this stuff. And of course, already her mom's threatened to pull the rug out and said, I'm not going to help you anymore. So like less than a month after she brings her out there, a month before she even starts school. Anyway, I'm just lucky that my daughter wants to spend time with her father. And so I'm going to drive, and I got so many friends along the way and so many places I'd like to make videos. I was really glad, by the way, if you saw my Petaluma video, if you haven't, it's a good one. I watched the whole damn thing myself because I enjoyed watching my own video. All that stuff is such good stuff to know about Petaluma. It's a great town. I was able to, it's one thing to tell you D Street, but to stand there on D Street and say, this is the street, drive down this street, and you won't believe how beautiful everything out there is. The back roads of Marin and Sonoma County are just incredible. And then where you end up, the ocean, at Stinson Beach or Tamales or Dillon Beach or Tamales Bay or Bolinas, or it's all just Point Reyes Station. It's all amazing. So that was fun. And then, of course, talking about how Sylvester Stallone fell over the top there, and that was where the oh shit. And so that was great. And then also you saw a picture of the pool that I told you about. That's a great public pool, giant Olympic-sized pool, plus another pool in Petaluma. And Petaluma has the sound of a racetrack at night, every Friday, Saturday night, all summer, and at other times of the year too. It's something you learn to hopefully enjoy. It's like the sound of chickens in Hawaii. Hopefully you can learn to accept it because you will hear it regularly. But it's an interesting backdrop sound in Petaluma. I gotta go to those races sometime. Maybe in the future I'll cover that and make a video of it. It'd be kind of cool. That's something I'd like to cover. All the, they still have demolition derbies, man. I bet you I can find a demolition derby when I drive across the United States. I also want to try to find places to do stand-up comedy. And I was thinking it might be fun to go to Colorado or Oregon, try to find an open mic night where it's legal to find a place to buy and experience what it's like to go to a store and buy psychedelic mushrooms take mushrooms and try to do stand-up comedy on mushrooms. I think I've never seen anybody try to do that. I think it would be a fun experiment, and I could essentially do it totally legally, right, in Oregon or Colorado. Now, interestingly, in the world of investment, as I've talked about, you should all be managing your own money. And with some portion, I like a smaller portion more than a larger portion, but with some portion, you should be invested in roughly, slowly but surely, you should build yourself a portfolio of 20 different stocks, okay? 20 different companies. 16 of them at least with really great dividends. But you can take a flyer on a few, and I found one that I think is fun to take a flyer on, and I did, but it's an ETF, so it can't go out of business. It's not a company, right? But it's an ETF that's just focused on psychedelic mushroom and psychedelic drugs, and the research, development, and sales of that, right? And it's come down from $10 a share to $1 a share. It can't go out of business because it's just an investment in other companies. So anyway, you know, $1,000 buys you 1,000 shares of this psychedelic drug ETF, exchange traded fund, which is just a bunch of money dispersed into different companies. That was an interesting thing to find, and the fact that it's wounded, you know, came out at $10. It came down from 10 to 1, so that's a pretty big drop, you know. And again, it's not a company that can go out of business. So even though it's come way down, you know, it seems like it's not like it's invested in crypto like FTX. It's the one ETF that probably could have gone out of business, like the only one. The rest of it seems like it should be almost impossible anyway, if they're investing in companies. So that's just interesting. On the note of psychedelic drugs and investing your money, and stand-up comedy and legality. It's only legal in 2 states, but it's probably going to expand. That's my point. And I just think it'd be interesting, just like it is, it's fascinating for me to go into a legal dispensary that sells weed. That's just mind-boggling and super fun. And so I like to do that on my trips and report to you about that experience. I like to just basically get down to the nitty-gritty of the cost of the cheapest eighth, the overall number of products, and general look of the store, and people in there, and then the price of the cheapest concentrates, and maybe cartridges and stuff like that. So that's that. So yeah, I'm gonna drive across the United States because I want to see my daughter. She wants to see me, but that gives me the opportunity to do a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna try to string together a lot of things. There's towns I want to do a whole thing on. There's lots of videos that hang out there in the wind that I really want to do, showing you, just like Petaluma. There are other towns and different things. So that's the next trip. That should be a trip. Just like American politics. Man, this is going to be interesting. I just love it because she's sharp as a whip, and Trump is not. So I hope they keep the next debate with all the rules, keeping Trump quiet and turning off his mic and letting her speak. She is not going to stutter, and she is not going to have a senior moment. So, damn. I'll tell you what. Yeah, vote blue no matter who. It's kind of scary in a weird way. I don't know what's true and what isn't. I don't know what to believe and what not to believe. But I'm fascinated by the things that are in the world, like this old lady who's like Nostradamus, named Baba Vanga. This Romanian lady went blind as a kid and had shut off from the world, but she made all these predictions that were true, and she made some dire predictions about Donald Trump. So, man, we really need to make sure all the women come out to vote, and everyone with any good sense protect this country, because gosh darn it, it's scary. So, you know, history's not, and then, yeah, so let's see. Yeah, again, man, that shooting's crazy. All this Republican on Republican violence, you know. It's not good for this country. Um, let's see. Oh, and all this reporting about the Democrats being fractured. It's been frustrating, but it's obviously not true. They're doing great. I can't read any of that shit you're writing, but thanks for writing something. Shoots, bada boots. Oh yeah, yeah. If you threaten someone today, you might be a Republican. About the most un-American thing you could ever do. Oh, that outage we had, that was just a reminder that we need to protect our use of cash. We need to keep using cash. You need to use cash. You need to spend it on local businesses. Forget about ordering shit from Amazon. Go down to your local store. Spend some cash. Keep cash circulating. When all else fails, it's good when we still have it and we can use it and businesses can continue to operate. In case the internet goes out again, maybe someday. That is a possibility, or the power, right? Which is why I have dreams of having a business that is cash only, because I am a rebel. I'm not a lawbreaker, but I am a rule breaker. Gee whiz. So I've been watching all the shit you can watch about how to, for a good liver health, to avoid, prevent, or eliminate your diabetes, or for longevity, or for your colon health, or you name it. I have been watching every video, you top 10, top 20 healthiest foods on earth, or for humans. I have watched countless videos from many doctors, and I have found a whole bunch of common ground, and I've been having fun lately just finding ways of incorporating, said known ingredients with said known properties for said purposes. And you don't have to bother with all that shit. But if you don't mind, which I know is hard for people to listen to me, especially my kids and my parents and my siblings and everyone I've ever in my family. But if you don't want to have to watch all the shit I've watched and you want to learn a bunch of shit, here it is. Okay. Everything I've been cooking, right? Turmeric is on all those lists, right? And blueberries, and there's constant talk of Sardinia, goat cheese, goat milk because of the medium chain triglycerides. Same with coconut oil for that same purpose. What else? Omega-3s, that's the one guaranteed known thing that's good for us, according to all doctors. Where do you find omega-3s? And chia seeds and walnuts, basically, are the two easiest places in the plant world. Ahi and salmon, right, in the animal world. There's other fish, and I think grass-fed animals in general, but maybe beef grass-fed. But you want to be looking for omega-3s. What foods have it, and be focusing on eating those, right? Medium chain triglycerides from the goat cheese, goat milk, and coconut oil. And the omega-3s. And then, of course, sulforaphane, which is the magical ingredient in cruciferous vegetables, okay? Cruciferous vegetables, okay? That's what you need to eat. What are those? Kale, mustard greens, bok choy, which is cool because it's locally very popular. Broccoli, which everyone loves. Brussels sprouts, which everyone now loves. Cauliflower, which is now how people are making their pizzas. And have a rice substitute. So it's really cool because it's not that hard to get cruciferous vegetables into your diet. Now, in the cruciferous vegetable family of vegetables, there is one place where there's just mad amounts of this magical ingredient called sulforaphane, and those are broccoli sprouts. So try to make sure you try to find broccoli sprouts in your community if you can. Buy them, eat them. Find them at the grocery outlet in Petaluma for $2.99. Everywhere else they're super expensive, but that was cool. Um, so that's it, man. And then all the other little things, but just try to incorporate all that shit into your. Oh, and then fermented foods are super great. Whatever, pickles, kimchi, capers, sauerkraut. It's all good for your gut health, and like a little yogurt too, maybe. Um, Seaweed, I think, has omega 3s. Everyone in Hawaii loves seaweed. You can use seaweed instead of a tortilla and make a wrap with just seaweed sheets. Anyway, but goat cheese is really good, and it's just kind of like cream cheese. So if you're having salmon or smoked salmon, right? Go smoked salmon or salmon with your goat cheese, which is like cream cheese with your capers and a pickle. And then, of course, garlic and onions is on every longevity list, and it's obviously good for you. Tea, super good for you. Green tea, a little bit of black coffee is good for you. So that's all the shit. Oh, and then the oils, what not to eat. Of course, everyone now knows about sugar, and fake sugars are all bad, so just avoid sugar. The right kind of salts, Himalayan salt and sea salts, kosher salts. Those have a lot more minerals. Those are better for you. Of course, they don't have any iodine, but you'll end up getting enough of that because it's just in all the table salt everywhere that goes into everything that you incidentally eat. So, but the most important thing that no one talks about, no one is disciplined on, no one I know will listen to me at all. I was just on a road trip and people just blew me off. The wrong oils, the seed oils, that's what's killing everyone. If you watch 100 videos about what's really killing people, that's what all the videos will tell you. I'll tell you the same thing. Seed oils, all of the bad ones. Of course, we know about palm oil, but all of them, corn oil and soy oil and sunflower and safflower and whatever, all of them. Vegetable oil, it's all super bad. That's what's killing you, worse than the sugar. But a combination of sugars and the wrong oils, and you are just ripping yourself apart internally. So that's the thing that is. So that's everything. That's everything you're ever gonna need to know about your nutrition. Pretty much in a nutshell. But I recommend you look up the same. Hummus or chickpeas are often mentioned as one of the good ones for us all to eat all the time, forever. Of course, avocado is good for your skin. That's a great food. And then there's some superfoods and other things that are good for you too. But those are some of the big ones. You can watch 100 videos on all the best foods to live long and not get sick and make clean blood and a healthy liver and heart, whatever. Anyway, all right. And then exercise. You got to exercise rigorously, especially over 50. So that's why I'm going to go on my friend Yerban just decided he wants to try to do an Ironman. There's no clue as to what he's trying to get into, but that's cool because that means I can do it with a friend. And all I want to do is get through the swim and the bike. I want to be allowed to start the run. Then they'll probably kick me off because I'm too slow. That's okay. And I don't necessarily want to do the run. I just want to be fast because last time I tried to do it once before. And right before the end of the bike, they kicked me off the course because I was too slow. But I need to work out according to science. They did a bunch of studies with lots of people. And 1 year of rigorous exercise is not enough to counteract what happens with your heart over the age of 50. It shrinks and it hardens. So, 2 years, not one, but two. Not one, but 2 years of rigorous exercise. So my friend and I are gonna identify a race, a half Ironman, in about a year and train for that and then go do it. And that should be fun, good, clean fun, because everything is manageable. I mean, if you've ever tried to do a marathon, it's horrible. And you might be able to handle 12, 13 miles, which is half an Ironman's distance for running. But when you get to like 18 miles, your nails start falling off and shit. Mayhem happens, your knees start swelling up. For the normal person, it is just a nightmare. But 12 miles is doable for most of us. And then the swim will be easy. And then the bike, 60 miles. All of us can do 60 miles. But after 60 miles, that's when we all start really slowing down and breaking down. So it's all like doable distances. The half Ironman. You know, it's a 1.3 mile swim and a 1.2 mile swim, a 60 mile bike ride, and a 13 mile run. Right. So anyway, I'm gonna start training for that. Do that with my buddy Yervon. I'll bring a camera with me, and that'll be good for me. And maybe I can inspire some of you to be healthy in the process. And that'll be some good shit and fun. And that'll also accomplish the goal that I need to set for myself as a 55-year-old, to do 2 years of rigorous exercise to counteract the effect of being this age and my heart expectedly shrinking and getting hard, which is not necessarily what I think I would want. And since it is reversible, according to doctors and scientists, I'm going to get after it. All right, so let's see. What else? This last trip was really interesting. I learned so much about Route 2 being the first highway across the United States of America. It was a I'm gonna run for a glass of water real quick. Oh. All right, I really need to get this camera focused on the dying sunset, although it still looks good with this camera. 7 people. What's up, 7 people? I should have done this earlier, right when it was breaking news. I could have been one of the first people on YouTube with the breaking news Biden. I wonder if I would have got 50,000 or something. Anyway, I don't know, but I'll take 7. Hell yeah. So, one of the interesting things was this this new product in the dispensaries. They now have, very affordably, right? Like for a lot of people, 10 milligrams, maybe 20, maybe 30 milligrams is a lot, is plenty. THC, right? And now they have little 2-ounce bottles that are 100 milligrams in like a little bit of juice that you can just drink for $11, right? So that's $1 for 10 milligrams. Very affordable for a dose for most people, right? That's $1, maybe $2 for most people. Then there's now little 2-ounce bottles that are 1,000 milligrams. Each little capful is 100 milligrams. It's incredibly concentrated and an interesting new development as far as I can tell. And tons of drinks, beverages, sodas, juice beverages that are 100 milligram juice beverages, right? Lots of them. And those are 10, 11, 12 bucks. And that was an interesting discovery on my last trip, and they're all over the country. Saw those in Montana, saw those in California, saw those in Michigan. So that was interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna drive across the United States, okay? Try to weave through a few good purposes. Maybe I can time it right and do some open mic comedy. Maybe I can go to some towns that I know I want to show you, etc. Continue to document. Maybe I'll start documenting all the post offices. I think they're kind of, in a nerdy way, kind of interesting. All the different post offices in the United States of America. Of course, the town squares. I want to make coffee table books of both of those things. And so But what else? Oh, and then it's summertime, so there could very well be an interesting festival or celebration or gathering that I might be able to just hit on the way and breeze through, spend a few hours. I don't know what's happening, but for instance, I might go through when something like, and it may have probably already happened, but there's things in our country, whether it's a big concert or a big gathering like Sturgis or Ragbri or in Iowa or some big county fair or summer fair or whatever, state fairs. There's just interesting stuff all over the country all summer because everyone's celebrating. You never know when you're going to run into somebody in the summer who's like, hey man, you hungry? We got extra at our barbecue. That's happening at parks all over the country. People trying to feed a few extra people after they realize they cooked too much stuff at their county park. So, cheers. I have discovered that unless the camera is still, the reception is just terrible. So there's, I think, better ways to do it. I think with my other cameras, there's ways to do it that I haven't unlocked the mystery to yet. But I hope to eventually be able to film clearly live, right? So, yeah. Crazy, this world of politics. I tell you what, I never did get myself on TV. That's all right. I can see myself right here. But yeah, interesting. And interesting how they just, it's just all in on Kamala Harris. But boy, if she picks a dynamic and resourceful and powerful vice, creates a really strong alliance there, that is certainly not going to hurt her. So it's going to be really interesting to see who she picks. And they got to pick that person real quick. And it'll be interesting to see what happens, what kind of if there's infighting or inner politics, because it would also be interesting if they put Gavin Newsom running for president and then kept her as vice, but then of course that would not fly well with her ego, with the looks of that. It would look bad, it would seem misogynistic. But Gavin sure is charismatic, So anyway, this is fascinating, and let's just pray that the Republicans don't find a way to steal the election, which is what they're going to obviously try to do. They tried to do it before. They're going to lie about it no matter what. Even if they win, they're going to lie and say it was rigged. That's like Trump did in 2016. He was just preparing everyone for when he said it was rigged in 2020. Anyway, it is just 61% of Republicans are so stupid that they don't think Biden won. By the way, Biden's term is almost over, so yeah, you can keep trying to relitigate that. That makes a lot of sense since it's now over. But they're just trying to prepare everyone for this, get them used to it so they can try to overthrow the government. So sad. Oh man, there's this local story of this lady. Can't believe it. She's from UC Davis. And for those of you who don't understand, California has a lot of people that aren't very smart. It's got its fair share of Republicans. A lot of people think California just has one kind of person. And that is about the furthest thing from the truth you could ever imagine, of course, with the, 60 million people there? It's a country. So, yeah, this lady who is a professor at UC Davis is here in Oahu, and it just starts freaking out. She's from this moms who were Nazis organization, um, the Confederate Moms of America, and she berates these nice ladies who were probably born as men, uh, and who were dressed beautifully. And what if you're a Republican and you're thinking about coming to Hawaii, you should prepare yourself. We are very tolerant. Hawaii, long before I ever got here, loved its gay trans community. It's never been a prejudicial community. It's been an accepting, kind, loving community, right? And so that's just nice to move into. And so if you're looking for people to support your hate against gay people, this is not the place for that. Like 29% of our electorate is batshit crazy Republican. So yes, yeah. That's just funny. And that was in our local news. This crazy lady from UC Davis of all places. By the way, one of the things I want to do is go to right next to, and I want to confirm that it's true, like go there, but my friend told me it's absolutely true. He saw it. So when I tell the story, I say I saw it, even though I didn't see it. My friend saw it. But this is funny. Next to Davis is a town named Dixon. This is agricultural, right? They grow apples, and they have a cider company, and the name of the cider company is Dixon Cider Company. So I want to drive to, there's got to be an address, so that's on I-80. That's going to be on the way many times in my travels. So I want to go there and make a video at the Dixon Cider Company. If nothing else, at the sign outside the driveway, if there's a gate and you can, maybe they have a tasting room, merchandise, I don't know. But they've got to be some funny people, is what they've got to be. So I want to meet those funny people. They don't want to go to that funny place. It is just an inherently funny place. Who got to write jokes when the world is that funny? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just for instance. And then of course I have a penchant for super beautiful places. I may finally, I may go back to Donner Lake and then drive an extra 10 miles into Lake Tahoe, where I have friends and know places to go, and where I used to work on the west side. Both the west side of Maui and the west side of Lake Tahoe are the best sides. So that's where I might take the camera. There's different places I'm going to look for to swim, find new ones. I know where there are some already. The rest areas will be of interest, as they always are. If not to you, to me, they are. And what else? Yeah, I've been cooking a lot of amazing meals, and I haven't been sharing them with you, and I should be. Yeah, shoot, so much going on. But wow, what big news today, huh? Biden now, but that's good. Biden can now relax and just finish doing a great job. He's been one of the greatest presidents in history, literally, just by the numbers, right? And so I just love watching Republicans just continue to try to frame it the opposite way, how bad things have been. It's just not true. Oh, I was thinking, if you want to help out the people of the fire, and while your money sent to a nonprofit or a church probably didn't help anybody, if you got 3 minutes, write a short letter to President Biden asking him on his way out to extend our housing in Maui. He's the one, from what I understand. I asked FEMA people, they said he's the one. So Biden can just, with the stroke of a pen, extend FEMA housing for Maui fire victims, survivors, whatever you want to call us. Um, and so, if people wrote letters to him encouraging him to do that, that might help him do it, and might help him want to do it, and bring attention to it. And that would be a game changer for what are, you know, 4,000 families here. I think that's all that's left. A friend of mine just bought a house in Florida, and is going to move there and put his kid in school there. And now that's a place I can visit, which is cool. Otherwise, I'm not sure I would have wanted to visit Florida. You know, hopefully I can get in and out of that state alive with all the guns and crazy people. Same with Texas. I would kind of like to go to Joe Rogan's places, open mic, see if I can get on stage there, make my own little video. It is kind of fun to go to, you know, places that are noteworthy and get on stage. Like when I did 6 Minutes at the Laugh Factory in Chicago, that was killer. You know, so I'll be looking for stuff like that. I may try to. It's tough, man. I did a live video videoing everyone else, but boy, it was in and out, and it missed a lot of jokes. And so I'll probably keep doing that, but I'm just sorry that the reception's so bad. But it's still interesting, I think, to make a live video filming the audience when you're doing comedy. And then, of course, my voice is right above the camera phone. And so you're probably going to hear me, even though, God, I mean, it took out like 2 punchlines. Like, you saw the people laugh, but you didn't hear what the joke was. So, but still, it was nice at the end. People were positive and encouraging, and it's all very unrefined. I'm not a refined comedian because I have no place to practice, and that's okay. I just like doing a joke at least once, and then putting it in the can, putting it on YouTube, and then knowing that if someone wants to say it's their joke, you know, I got some dated evidence. Anyway, oh, I've heard some stuff. What did I hear? Oh, finally, I heard what I've been saying by professional comedians on one of the big shows. I think it was on the Daily Show, maybe. But Uncle Tim, Uncle Tom, you know, in reference to Senator Scott, the way he was bowing to Trump as just you know, and I still have yet to hear the same thing for you know, what Justice Thomas's nephew, who's famous for having his education paid for by a Nazi billionaire, Harlan Crow. But his nephew calls him, of course, Uncle Tom, Uncle Thomas, Uncle Justice, Uncle Tom is. I'm waiting to hear that on one of the comedians' shows. I'm sure we will. So yeah, life is good. Shoots. All right, man. Now the sun is pretty much set, but it's amazing how good the camera picks it up. I just cooked some stuff. So these they make this broccoli slaw, you know, which is just grated broccoli made easy, which is a great crunch, but also you can just throw it in anything. It's great for a microwavable burrito, but it's an easy and great way to. It's pre-washed. Get your broccoli. Get some cruciferous vegetables. Add it to every taco tortilla. So shoots bada boots. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, my poor kids, man, they're having a hard time adjusting, moving out of the house. Their mother made them both leave in different ways, and so now they're on their own, and they're having a hard time adjusting. But so I'm happy to go out to visit. I'm gonna spend a week with my daughter. I think we're gonna go up to Maine, and I'm gonna show you. I made videos a long time ago, but you can go way back. But I'm gonna take you to Togue Pond, where they have these canoes for rent for $1 on the honor system up in Maine, Baxter State Park. Bunch of ponds up there. Just beautiful. Right where the lodge is, where the people who finish the Appalachian Trail, they finish and then they walk to this lodge. Right around that lodge, before and after it, before you even get into the park, are these ponds in upstate Maine. So I think I want to bring my daughter there. I think she and I should just hang out at a barbecue pit. We'll cook hella good, hella healthy food right there, because they have barbecue pits for free and free parking all day, and it'll be awesome. And then there's Camden and Lincolnville Beach, Maine, that I want to show you again. I've made videos there before, but they're just so special, and I want to show my daughter them and spend time there. And so that'll be the goal, I think. If not, the other option would be to go back to Washington, D.C. and get back into the Smithsonian and spend time in those halls of interesting. The halls of interesting at the Smithsonian. All of the halls there are interesting. Doesn't matter what they are. So yeah, it's but that's what we did last time. So anyway, yep, that's coming up. Gonna drive across the United States and back. Find some new roads and routes. Try to avoid tolls. Oh, one of these really evil aspects, one that I picked up on that just burns me. Here's one thing everyone in America agrees on. If you don't know this, let me tell you what everyone agrees on. What could everyone agree on, Craig? I know, it's an incredible question. So here's what everybody agrees on. You will not find one person. I've quizzed 20,000 people. Statistically, you will never find one person in America that likes toll roads, okay? There's one thing all Americans are united against. It's toll roads. They piss me off personally. Like, I can't tell you. Even bridges on tolls. Now with all the fast track bullshit, the hell with all that. That is one huge infringement on freedom. If we want to be a country and a people that claim to want to be free, toll roads are the antithesis of that. And you know what? You'll never meet an American from sea to shining sea that agrees with anything other than me on this subject. So it's obviously not my idea to dislike toll roads. It's such a well-accepted idea that all the maps that you drive across the United States with offer you the option of how do you want to get across country with no tolls, right? Why? Because people hate tolls. So part of this evil Nazi manifesto, Project 2025, part of it is wanting to privatize more highways and roads across the United States, which is more toll roads. Just like they do in red states, Ohio and Indiana, who are adjacent to one another. They don't even give you an option. They just fast track you, toll you. Same with Oklahoma, does the same thing. Same with Iowa on one end, with one exception with Iowa. On the border of Iowa, on the left side of Iowa, okay, looking at the map, the west side, there is 4 lanes of express and 2 lanes peeling off, not express. Express is toll road. They don't say toll road. So you need to expect it, be hanging out over in the right lanes, in the far right lane, when you come up on the edge of the state of Iowa, and you can avoid it. But generally they trap everybody, which is why when you travel, I recommend a rental car, because all those tickets and all that bullshit goes to the rental company. They pay it. Yeah, they charge you for it, but so what? It gets handled, and you don't have a lingering frickin' warrant in Oklahoma for tolls you didn't even know about. That's what happened. I was talking to a guy on this last trip. By the way, on this whole trip, I did not meet one person who was in favor of the 34-time convicted traitor, felon, Orange Lucifer. Every person I met, the entire way, across the United States, almost all the way. Michigan's almost all the way and back. Only people I met were people that couldn't believe anyone would be stupid enough to vote for Donald Trump in the first place. That was interesting and amazing. Um, but what was I gonna say that I learned? I don't know. Life is good, and the sun is already set now. Sorry about that. I should have showed it to you. It's really pretty out there. I need to get out. I need to get in the water. I finally visualized myself swimming out there, which is where it all has to start for me. Got a little PTSD, and some things are a little slow to, get turning again. And for some reason, I've just been hesitant to want to really swim in the ocean. If you've seen any of these videos on Shark Week about the tiger sharks that are out here, right here in Maui, right here. They've got them tagged, they follow them, they know they're right here. They're 15 footers. So it's a little humbling. And there have been more shark attacks, and all blah, blah, blah. But still, nevertheless, there's a lot of reefs. And if I hug the shore, and where I'm going to swim towards is S-turns, which is where one of the fatalities was about 15 years ago, maybe or so. So anyway, nevertheless, if I stay close to shore, or if I go out and swim out around and among all these coral beds at low tide when it's shallow, there's no big sharks or fish are gonna come anywhere near any of that, realistically speaking. So I know that. I've just been a big wuss swimming in the pool and shit. So I need to get out there and got underwater cameras that are supposed to be able to survive underwater. So I need to go out there and get some footage underwater. These huge turtles I see swimming by every day. Start getting some footage like that for my channel. So that would be cool. I need to do that. And this week I have to accomplish a whole bunch of shit because I want to fly out so I can drive across the United States and back again. And that was interesting and weird. Doing long videos while I was driving. Whoa, man. And then devolving in front of you, that was really embarrassing. But I just left it there. The truth is what it is. Enough hours on the road and my mind just literally turns to silly putty. And I try to have this habit, which is now being witnessed, of just yelling or saying things loud, anything. I figure I can't fall asleep if I'm yelling something. That's the philosophy, the idea. So I'll just start singing or making noises or anything. As long as I'm just, just making loud sounds, I figure there's just no way I can possibly fall asleep if I'm doing that. So that's the thought that led to me developing this habit. And so when I start getting really freaking tired, I'll start and my brain starts just melting. I'll start doing that shit because at this point it's a habit and it's kind of funny. And then I'm like, oh shit, I'm live. But yeah, terrible reception. I wish you could see what's in front of me clearly, and I got to figure out how to accomplish that. But I am going to go to school and take classes with the young people. But it'll be fun because I'll be trying to learn how to do things better for something I'm already working on. I'm going to take classes in how to be better at my YouTube channel, basically. They have a 2-year degree called Creative Media. And with all my prerequisites already met previously, I can get right to work on all those classes. So, old man going back to school, that's going to be good for me, good for my brain. Good for my rewiring it after the fire. And it's something to look forward to. But yeah, so I've taken care of the first big step. I got to take care of the second, third step this week so that I can take off on this. It's going to have to be like a 3-week trip, across the United States. I figure maybe across the United States in 6 nights. 6 nights with my daughter, and then 6 nights back. With the option of 1 extra night for travel or stay in one of those thirds, and then make it for a 21-day trip, hopefully giving myself time for a day or two on both ends in Northern California, or 3, maybe 22 days. Anyway, that's the idea. I look forward to bringing my cameras and trying to do a better job. This last one I was just going for it, but it was fun. I got to see, on the next trip I got to visit try to find my ancestors' graves in Arkansas, in Russellville, Arkansas, the Hamilton clan that gave birth to Sylvan Ardell, who ended up being given the name Dick. And then his son he named Richard, so there was Dick. But there was no reason to call him Dick because his name wasn't Richard, but anyway, they called him Dick. I grew up with a Grandpa Dick and an Uncle Dick. And so I had a lot of Dicks in my family. And my Grandpa Dick owned a couple restaurants, one in San Francisco and one in Fairfax, California, just a block away from where I did that open mic, and called the Hamilton House. And his son, Richard C. Hamilton, he was a California highway patrolman, never took his gun out of his holster. How's that for a good cop? Never took his gun out of his holster. And he worked in Oakland and San Francisco and the Bay Bridge. But so he was cool, and he was a 33rd degree Freemason, the highest level Freemason in the Scottish Rite, which is interesting. I had all of his old Freemason pins, and they burned up in the fire. Everything burned up in the fire. Anyway. Interesting. So, I'm almost never crying, which is good. I figure that's a big part of recovering. Right after the fire, I think myself and everybody cried like every day. Some people are still crying on and often. I think the support I've gotten from a lot of you has helped me overcome that, but also I've always had a compass pointed north, trying to have a good attitude. It is the only thing I can control. So I have done my best to try to have a good attitude, and that has helped me tremendously. Doesn't mean I don't get bummed out a little bit and have gaps where I don't do much, where I'm almost catatonic. I just, watch TV and do nothing. But then again, there's all this science telling us doing nothing's really good. It's just, you don't want to become like a hoarder. A hoarder is someone who started doing nothing and then never stopped doing nothing. Right? So, and agoraphobia, you start not leaving your house, and before you know it, you're afraid to leave your house. So that's how you get agoraphobic too. And no one wants that. So, but yeah, I've been experiencing all these weird little things after, watching everything burn up and all that. So, it's a lot of what I want to talk about. I do still plan. I got to read this book. I got to read this book to you. Got to read it to myself. I suspect it'll be a very positive influence on me. Maybe my kids will want to just listen to the book instead of reading it. If I could get my son to read this book, it would be really good for him, and my daughter. But I read it when I was 18. It's called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman, who's still alive. I think he's like 78 years old, lives in Brooklyn, I think. But he used to live in Marin County in Lucas Valley, right where I grew up. Where he raised his kids was 2 blocks from my middle school, Miller Creek Middle School. A school that didn't have to change its name. Unlike my elementary school, that was Dixie School, now Lucas Valley Elementary. So, Way of the Peaceful Warrior. I'm going to read that book. I'm going to read it out loud. And hopefully you'll enjoy it like that. I'm not sure if the camera should be on me or the book. Probably should be on the book. I've seen videos like that where it was the book. But maybe it should be me. Maybe it should be the ocean. I don't know what. yeah, that's one of the, and I've never done that kind of content, so that'll be fun. It'll be like a whole new kind of content. Get something started, get another wheel spinning, that it just keep it spinning. Yeah, so life is good. I'm gonna rent it. I still haven't filled out. I gotta go online, get into my emails, find the email, fill out the paperwork online, send it in, and then I can engage with this theater that I want to rent out to do a show. I'm gonna do it. It's just as I actually went down there, $2,000 in my pocket. Like if I could have gotten in and done the deal in person, it would be done already. So, but I'm just, slow sometimes at getting shit done. I guess since I'm a bit more of a procrastinator than normal, maybe, with the after effects of the experience of the fire. So. Not that that should be defining me moving forward, or that it defines me now. It's just something that's hard to ignore. It's perpetually hard to ignore in your life, even though I am being put up well here in this nice apartment. I feel very blessed, no doubt about it. I feel very, very lucky. So. Yeah, life is really, really good. I watched this gastroenterologist. If you haven't listened to a gastroenterologist speak, he would wish you nothing but nice Bristol 4s. Okay, I hope y'all had a good Bristol 4 or 2 today. All right. Gee shucks. And if you want to have a good Bristol 4, you eat all those things I was talking about. All right? You eat all those things I was talking about. Because that is a nice sign of good gastrointestinal health is, a good Bristol 4. Or a 3 or 5, but mostly a 4. Gee shucks. Anyway. All right. Well, life is good. Remember, smile at the world will smile back at you. The only thing you have any control over is your attitude, so have a good one. Make that choice. It's the one way everyone can improve their own quality of life. Flip that switch. Be thankful and appreciative. Oh, here's something funny. Here's something super funny. Thanks for lasting this long, and I have a prize for you. Because it's just one more thing begging me to someday make a bunch of jokes about my ex-wife. And I'm not sure how to make this into a joke, or if I just tell it like it is, but someday when I start doing Netflix specials, which by the way is its own joke, all the open mic people I've ever met think they're gonna get a Netflix special. Okay, they all think that. So that's just funny, and so do I. So once I start doing Netflix specials, I'll have to do some ex-wife jokes. But according to sources, shortly after the divorce, which was like 15 years ago, my ex did tried to cast spells on me like a real witch. Anyway, that's funny. I think that's hysterical. Oh my God. Anyway, the drama never stops. And meanwhile, she's just making life difficult. Oh yeah, so she threatened to pull the rug out from under my daughter, and then the next day she changed her mind, and doesn't want, and then she's like, I want the money Dad gave you, and then the next day she changed her mind, and I'm like, honey, whatever, just give her whatever, and then I'll give you whatever, and she got mad over $31, so I said, okay, just tell her there's $40 on the seat of her car. And I went and put $40 in. Keep the change. Just tell her, keep the change. Maybe that'll quiet her down. Anyway, it's just funny. The drama with my ex. It never ends forever. Stupid little things, constantly. And anyway, not that it matters. It really doesn't matter. I shouldn't even be bringing it up. My kids would be horrified. But I just think it's funny. world is so goddamn funny. I don't even know what to do about it. Um, and back to Biden. Good job, Joe Biden. Enjoy kicking ass for the next 6 months, getting a whole bunch of stuff done. Hopefully, you'll extend the life of us people in shelters here in Maui so we can continue to try to figure out our lives. And I promise to keep working on figuring out my life, even though I'm a long way from it. Maybe I'm getting closer to it. And if I can start doing shows, that might just be a way to make a living, which would be amazing. And I don't know what else to talk about right now. You guys, thanks for watching. I need to start, started watching some videos from people who are like comedian instructors. Long time, I've watched these before, like Ralphie May does like an hour and 45 minutes, you know, on this subject, which I watched a long time ago. But there's a whole bunch of other people that make that kind of content. So I've been watching that. That's good. I need to do more writing and writing down all my ideas and grouping it together. And I really need to get to work on that, just as from an academic perspective. So that's cool. What else have I been learning about on YouTube? I feel like I like to report on the things I've been learning on YouTube. The interesting things I have discovered. It's really a never-ending source of just interesting stuff, things you can learn about, which is fun. But if you look around, you will just see one after another video talking about, you know, what we really learned, or what really works, or what we really got to worry about, or the hidden thing. And you got to watch a whole video to find out about oils. Don't consume the wrong oils. That's what they're telling you in all the videos right now. It's a big discovery, which I guess, you know, maybe we've known anyway. But, you know, so not just fried foods, but basically everything in the entire snack aisle will kill you. And all the processed foods that have oils injected into them. I mean, the Chick-fil-A frickin' chicken patty has these oils pumped into it. They are the omega-6 oils, okay, to be a little specific. And they are the bad ones. You know, you need a tiny bit of, but that's it. So anyway, that is the thing. I want you all to live long and be healthy and filter your water. Yeah, how beautiful, by the way. So northern Michigan is so special, and there's so much public land and so many great roadside parks, places to take a nap, crash, drive around, visit, all through the northern states. That high line across the United States that I just drove is so beautiful. Of course, in the summer, I have no idea. In winter, it's probably treacherous. But, you know, with the right vehicle, that might be fun too. Anyway, that Highway 2 is really special. And as a great, I mean, once you get out of expensive Montana, it's affordable. Everything's affordable along that high line, I think, all the way across through Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin. You can find houses for prices that, you know, you wouldn't believe if you're coming from a place where houses are expensive. And there's a lot of places like that nowadays. So, and of course, while it might be incredibly cold in the winter and all that stuff, of course, it's getting a little too hot in the southern states, and as it warms up in the coldest places, they become a lot more tolerable. So, you know, it might be there, you know, will likely be a migration north to these places where you can buy a home for, you know, $75,000. So that's just kind of cool. Or $50,000 or $100,000. I mean, just, you know, the kind of prices you wish you could find a house for. So, and now it's dark outside. And I don't really have a meal to cook to show you. So I guess we'll end this talking story. Um, let's see here. Maybe I can get some news going, you know? Know what I mean? I got a couple different, the kind. Boy, did I have fun on that last trip. Going into that room with 7 people, right? Filming a live broadcast of the audience and having a viewing audience of 14 on live. So a total of 21 people between the 14 on YouTube and the 7 in the room. And then within a day having like 800 views, right? Of what was a broken up set, but still, if you could have seen, everybody laughed, all 7 people, you know. So that was just fun, and I kept their attention, and the guy let me just keep going and going because he liked what I was doing and saying. That's what he told me. He said, I was liking everything you said. So that was pretty fun, you know, to run the room when, even though it was 7 people still, man, I mean, I ran the room. I had control of it, and that was fun, you know, to go into a room of strangers and be that effective was cool. Of course, what I said was a little broken up. I didn't have any kind of a plan. I wasn't expecting that. I figured I'd just tell like 3 or 4 short jokes, but I was able to get into a couple stories, sort of, and I mean, but dang it, that's what I really want, is places to let me go 22 minutes like that. That was cool. That was fun. I could keep going for a lot longer than that. So that's going to be my goal, is to I'm going to promise, like if I do advertisements for the little show I want to do, I'm going to promise to do an hour. And then I'm going to hopefully get a friend or 2 musicians to also play after me. So I'll sort of like be the headliner who opens, because I figure the energy levels would be better if it starts out with comedy and then moves into music, right? And then, you know, divide it up so people can choose. If they wanted to go to one, not the other, that's fine, whatever, just, you know. So that's the idea there. But yeah, so, oh man, how about these? Man, and then of course there's things I'd like to witness. You know, like there's these Nazis that have been going around the country like idiots, that have been in Nashville, or a Trump rally, which is going to have Nazis at it also. But I would love to just go film, interview people in places that are extra interesting like that. Because, you know, when you live in Hawaii, you just watch this stuff from a distance. And you're like, oh, wow, mainland is crazy. You know, hopefully I won't get shot in the red states where more people get shot and it's more dangerous, even though, yes, it's dangerous in some blue places because of the guns sold in the places with no gun restrictions that are then imported across state lines. So, yeah, life is good. It'll be interesting. What else is going on in the world? Yeah, would you just wait? Oh, and then of course, Trump needs to insult women. So he's gonna I mean, Kamala Harris, he'll not say her name right, and he would just go after her because he's a total misogynist. He doesn't really like women. Doesn't see them as capable, and he will just make kind of a fool of himself while he speaks to those people who share those kinds of views. And that will be interesting. There we go. And okay, so, but interesting. Would have been a good experiment earlier, because I was on it right when it happened. If I make a breaking news, Biden drops out of the race, you know, like within it, a minute of it happening. Could I have gotten like 20,000 viewers or something? You know, that would have been interesting. Um, so yeah, and then there's Justice Thomas, and boy, the Supreme Court sure sucks. Of course, every time they do something stupid, it's always going to come back to bite them in one way or another. You can't do things that are unfair or unlawful and then not expect it to come back to bite you. So that's going to keep happening because the Supreme Court is shamelessly terrible. They are representing what, like 20% of the country. Thing about the cult following that Trump has is the part of being in the cult is you vote. It's what you do. So 100% of the cult followers vote. And 100% of them is like 60 million people, which is like 20% of the country. So that's all. 20% of the country is trying to control the rest of us. And it's really sad and scary because in the Supreme Court, 20% of the country's got 6 out of 9 Supreme Court justices. And it is scary. Oh, one of my dreams is to go to Maple Motors, buy a car, and drive it home or to some place where I can keep it, share it with a friend or a family member. I would still like to have a hot rod. I know it is not environmentally fashionable, but they have these hot rods. Look at this, $23,900 1969 Pontiac Le Mans at Maple Motors. Oh my God, for only 24 grand. Like a new little compact car costs more than that. You know? Camaros and GTOs and all the, yeah, anyway. That's on YouTube. Maple Motors, if you've never seen it. There's a lot of others. I was thought, oh, maybe there'll be others like Maple Motors, but all the other ones that I see like Maple Motors have like $60,000 cars. It's like, fuck that. I'm never going to have 60 grand for a hot rod. But I could see coming up with 15. They got them for 15, 20, 12, 25, 30, 32. All just fucking kick-ass cars from the 60s and 70s, baby. All the Camaros I could ever dream of. Camaros are kind of one of my favorites. You know, those 68, 69, 70s. But I like a 71, 2, 3, maybe a 4 even, depending upon, you know, the rest of it. And then all the other cars. Oh, man, an Impala. How sweet would it be to have a sweet, like, 64, 5, or 6 Impala, which they got too all the time. Or a Ranchero, which is like a truck that's totally usable. Anyway, I might drive to Maple Motors in Tennessee just to make a video about a place that makes videos. I might go back to the Gas Station Adventures gas station, which is very uneventful, but still just a little bit funny. I may go by the John Oliver. If you don't know, I made a video about this. Only 50 people have seen it. So I thought it might become popular. I thought maybe John Oliver would find it. But I made a video at the John Oliver Balls of Steel sewage treatment plant. There's a sewage treatment plant in Danbury, Connecticut, dedicated to John Oliver because he talked shit about them, and then he made a donation to them so that they would dedicate. Anyway, so I went there and made a video with the sign, the John Oliver sewage treatment plant over my shoulder in Danbury, Connecticut, which is where Steve Bannon is probably, I think he's going to prison or he's in prison. In Danbury, there's a prison there, apparently. The Connecticut State Prison, I think, is in Danbury. Or federal prison, wherever Steve Bannon is at or had to go or has gone to or is about to go. I'm not sure what, I don't know what's going on there. Did he already go and come out already? I don't even know or care. But anyway, that was funny when they were talking about that. Danbury, it came up. But that's if you want to avoid New York City, which is what I'll be doing with my daughter. If you want to go around New York City, you can kind of go through Danbury, and avoid all those tolls and bridges. Screw all that. I don't want to deal with that. So, yeah, we're gonna go. I think I'm gonna take her up there to Maine. It's really not that far once you're in New Jersey, in Bergen County. A pretty good part of our country, Bergen County. If you don't know where it is, it's northern Jersey. It's a nice area in general with a lot of history. So, and that's where my daughter's gonna be going to school. So that's cool. What else? Yeah, other things. Other things on YouTube I'd like to see, man. I would love to see the crazy people at a Trump rally. That'd be interesting. Love to buy maybe a metal detector. I think it'd be cool to own a metal detector as an old man. It'd be kind of like having a dog that didn't eat anything, you know, but hopefully you'd be compelled to want to go walk around on the beach with it early in the morning. And maybe you find treasure. But at the very least, it gets you out for a walk early in the morning. You know what I mean? Maybe that'd be good for me as I become an old man. You know? If you don't use it, you lose it. I gotta use these legs and, you know, get out on the ocean at sunrise. That would inevitably be super helpful and healthy. Oh, there's another one. I may do some videos about the legal brothels. I still haven't done that. I drove by them. I considered it on my last trip, and I decided I'm just going to keep going. So that might be a really compelling, interesting video or two. So that might happen on this trip. What else? But yeah, maybe there'll be a music festival that I can drop in on, or a professional baseball game, or you know, maybe who knows? Who knows what wonderful things are possible? But what I am going to do is drive safely and the speed limit. And yeah, pretty crazy. Joe Biden dropping out of the race, and all the speculation, all the swing state speculation. Thing is, like I've talked about before, and I hope I'm right, but also, once again, maybe I'm sort of right because of what just happened. But as I've been saying, if anyone's going to be able to take back America, it's the women. We need the women to rise up and take back America. It's funny because I've been having fun with this. While it was pretty racist, you know, when Trump spoke to a black woman and said, hey, go back to your people and tell them, right? Because with the assumption being that all black people know each other, right? Because Trump is that stupid and that racist. And, right, and so that was super racist. But what is true and what's not racist and what's kind of funny is to tell women, oh, hey women, because I honestly don't know that many women, okay? I know 1,000 freaking guys, okay? Don't know that many women. I mean, I have a few female friends, and I know a lot of women in a small town as in a friendly way, but I don't really know them, you know what I mean? Like I know the guys I know. And so anyway, but women know each other, right? Just like men know each other, women know each other. And so I like to tell women, I'm gonna have fun with this, you know, because it almost seems offensive. Like I wrote it down, I wrote it on a live video feed, and people reacted. Like some woman's like, no, we don't. But yeah, I like telling women, hey, you women, all you women know each other. So go talk to each other and tell each other. Register to vote. Show up to vote. If you need a ride, I'll help you. I'll help you register. I'll help you go to vote. Whatever I can do to assist you. Make sure that you do. You know what I mean? And make sure you vote for women's rights, not against women's rights. Vote for the environment, not against it. Vote, etc. Right? Vote for democracy. Vote for gun safety. And so, yeah, I've been having fun with that. Just telling women, hey, you women, you all know each other, so get out there and talk to each other. So women, you all know each other, so go out there and talk to each other. Every woman you know, you need to make sure they're going to vote, and not against women. No excuses. And so, yeah, that's the funny thing that I've been having fun with. But it is also the truth in general. Just as men know one another, women do too. And so, women, please rise up. You're the majority of all the voters. You're the majority of all the college educated people in the country. So you really have the power to change the world with how you vote. And if you guys can unify, um, it will change the world. So I wouldn't really count on the men to be there for you. They've proven to kind of not be smart enough. They're stupid enough to think that it somehow makes them virtuous to want to kill women with Republican abortion laws that kill women. They don't save babies. They murder women. It's pro-death. Everything Republicans are is pro-death. And then, of course, they lie about it and call themselves pro-life. And then they get stupid men to think, oh, I think that sounds like makes me a good person to say I'm pro-life. It's not pro-life. It's pro-death. It's been proven. 26,000 women died in 1970 from illegal abortions, from black market abortions. We don't need black market abortions or women dying with dead fetuses in them and doctors that are afraid to serve them. And oh God, it's just horrible. Horrible, the stuff we've already seen as a result in the 25 states that are restricting women's rights. It's just gross. It's funny, I was commenting, a lot of women out there don't realize that they are slaves already in some states. If you are pregnant and married, you are not, is illegal to get a divorce. If you're pregnant, you are a slave. You must stay in that marriage if you don't realize that. And that's just the beginning, but that's in many states, many red states. You can look that up if you want. That is just shocking, alarming, and frightening. And I would hate to be a woman in any of those states, especially if I was married and pregnant, and to an abusive person that I needed to get away from. Holy smokes. Anyway, yeah, I'd love to joke around and make comments about how Republican women are voting so that they can lose their right to vote. And they just, nobody sees it coming. Nobody, all the same people that were like, oh, they'll never overturn Roe versus Wade. Yeah, those same people are saying they'll never do this, they'll never do this next thing, and then of course they're going to, and they are. And they just wrote up a Nazi Heritage Foundation, wrote up a Nazi manifesto explaining all the horrible things they're going to do. One of which is make more toll roads, which is just a pisser. Something I'm particularly against. I think I could win running for president on a platform of fighting against toll roads. That's how shitty they are, and that's how much Americans hate them. I actually think that would be one of the best bribes you can make. And how about this bribe? Telling waiters and waitresses they're going to stop taxing their tips. Doubtful. That's a lie. And then of course, we just want, at the same time, they'll give huge tax breaks. In the same bill, there'll be bigger tax breaks to billionaires, 100 millionaires, and huge corporations, right? The tax break will be twice as big for all them. And in that same tax bill, they'll put, oh yeah, we're going to stop taxing tips. And I really like to see how they're going to do that, because they figured out how to incorporate tips into everybody's freaking W-2 income. So how are they going to separate that out from your W-2 income? Oh, your tips are over here, okay, and that's not taxed? That'd be interesting, because that's going to be a large portion of your income often for people who are in the service industry, which would be great to see. And I'd like to see the Democrats follow suit, right? That's something, you can just copy them. It's okay. No one's going to mind. If you want to copy the Republicans, lie, and then actually say something and mean it, because that's what Democrats do. They could promise to reduce or eliminate taxes on tips, and that would be freaking awesome. Why? Because that would just stimulate the shit out of the economy. Every one of those dollars is going to get spent on someone's shoes, the kid's shoes, their own shoes, a shirt, a trip, a car, a debt. It's all going to go to very little of it will still even be able to be saved. But also, people will be able to save a little, maybe. And that will be great for all those people in the service industry. Um, so that's interesting. That whole tip thing is interesting. It's just another bribe. There's the abortion bribe, or the gun bribe, or the tax, not going to tax you bribe. The only reason I vote for Republicans is because of some bribe that you're so all in on. It's really weird and sad. All right, I'll shut up now. Thank you for watching All Good Things in All Good Time. It is a great day to be alive. Remember that. When in doubt, just say that out loud. It's a good day to be alive, and then maybe be like, oh yeah, I should be thinking that, you know. And then if you're thinking that, then you are experiencing the meaning of life. It's that simple. If it is a good day to be alive, then you are experiencing what it means, the best experience you can be having on Earth as a human. So, you know, it's not complicated. The meaning of life is right there in your hands. When you can say it's a good day to be alive and you're enjoying your day, even if you haven't left your apartment for 4 or 5 days like me. So I'll get or made any videos. So this is hopefully me getting unstuck right here, this video, and I'll go down and swim some laps. I need to go show you this pool, or not show it to you, but make a video from it. While I don't show you what it is, because I don't want to give it away. But I have a favorite pool that I like to swim in at night, a hotel pool that I've been swimming in for 25 years. Sometimes once a week, sometimes once a year. Always at dusk or at dark, usually, almost always. So I'm really almost invisible every time I've ever been there. Yeah, I can see myself making like a video from the pool, you know, making it, and you wouldn't, so that you couldn't really tell, and then be like, hey, my favorite little hobby, sneaking into hotel pools. Anyway, yeah, because this pool closes at 9, and that is in 35 minutes, right? Yet there are other pools. My favorite hotel pool is open till 10. And my son's pool is also open till 10. So I could swim in other places too, which I need to do. I also need to start going to the gym. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see Trump. Now he's got to zero in all that energy placed against. Oh, what about Buttigieg? She picks a gay guy. He is so smooth and so good at he would be a sensational pick. You know what I mean? Like a woman with that's not all white, right? And a man who's all white but all gay, and that who is sharp as a tack and so level-headed and so measured and would be just brutal in any debate or interview. I mean, constantly just smooth, both of them. And she's a litigator, so she's gonna be great at making a case for anything and everything she wants to make a case for. And that's what you got to do as president, right? Make a case for why you should become president. Make a case for why you want certain laws enacted. You know, when you call Congress people, you got to make a case for trying to persuade them to be on your side. So, man, Buttigieg would be really interesting. God, and that woman. Is it the same to call a woman a labia majora as it is to call a man a dick? Anyway, Majora Trader Scream, you know, Majora Trader Scream, also known as Marjorie Taylor Greene, but I like Majora Trader Scream. Boy, she's an idiot. And you know what she just did? Something a stupid person would do. And you know what she's gonna do tomorrow? Something else even dumber. That's what she's gonna do tomorrow. She is just the dumbest of the dumb. It's amazing. And people vote for her. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. But if you, you know, if you throw away enough books, and if you can make people really stupid, they are susceptible to voting for people like her and Lauren Boebert, Lauren Bozo the Clown, shoots. All right. Gotta love it. God, it's amazing though. Amazing that there's anyone, let alone some sort of comparable number of people who would vote for all these idiots and traitors and liars, hypocrites and liars. Like, obviously, Trump lied 20 times, 22 times in his speech, in his shitty speech, in that shitty Republican National Convention. He lied 22 times. How could anyone like that? Want to be part of it? Want to vote for any of that? Like, when it's just so blatant and obvious. I mean, it's unbelievable. Anyway, yeah, maybe. And if I find any other like killer places to buy a hot rod, maybe I'll take my camera there too. But man, it would be cool to see a demolition derby, wouldn't it? You see some old school races in Tennessee. I mean, we got them in California too, Northern California and other parts. That's going on all over the country. All these crazy race nights, Friday night, Saturday night, race night. You know, which is pretty cool. I really should drop in on one of those. Maybe go to a rodeo. I've been to one rodeo in my life. That'd be pretty fun. Then there's all the museums across the United States. If I stop at all for any of those, that'd be kind of cool. Just the random museums. I like, you know what's interesting about all the roadside rest stop history is they always talk about someone in the local community, some kind of local history you're just never going to get in a textbook. You're never going to get it anywhere else, really. I mean, other than like from a local historian, that's the story of our local town. It was settled by this one guy in 1825 when he got this one house on the river here, and you know what I mean? Those are the stories that are really interesting and that are found at all the rest stops, which is pretty cool. Little details about states and locations. Usually they're location-oriented or state-oriented informational pieces on roadside or rest areas, rest stops. So I think I'm going to continue to focus on that, even though it's kind of a nerdy and to some would be boring to listen to me reading the plaques that tell the history of the United States at the rest stops. I find it interesting, so I'm just going to keep doing it. So that's, of course, I'm going to keep doing that and testing the water for parts per million. Maybe I'll get into the food as I go across the United States. Never really have done that. Either the food that I prepare in my hotel room or whatnot, with a microwave if I have a hotel room, or on a grill somewhere. So that might be kind of fun to make food and show it to you in what's fascinating. One of the most fascinating things as you drive across the United States that you might want to prepare for when you do it is the simple fact that in many states, you never really know which ones you should expect it at or not, but there are barbecue pits at so many of them. So, of course, they might be old and need a little scraping. They might be rusty. Maybe you should cover them with foil, whatever. There's still places you can put coals, make a fire, make a big old mess, cook up steaks or fish or chicken or vegetables or anything, or put a pan on over a fire and saute some stuff. You can cook in all kinds of rest stops all across the United States. You know, it's they're free, like sort of campsites almost. You can sleep in your car. They got the cleanest bathrooms. It's amazing how clean the bathrooms are at the rest stops, especially considering how heavily they are used. Most of them have on-duty people cleaning them every 8 hours, a new person coming on, 24 hours a day, an attendant cleaning them. So they have, you know, what's in a world that is increasingly unfriendly, you know, in cities. I've left cities because I couldn't find a place to use our restroom. I've just said, okay, I gotta leave the city, get out on the highway where I can find a rest stop where I won't be judged and where there's just a free, clean bathroom and, you know, a free source of water and, you know, a free place to park where I'm not going to be persecuted for taking a nap. You know what I mean? Rest stops are pretty wonderful in some ways, you know, in a world where in many cities, because of people's aversion to homelessness or their lack of a desire to want to foot the bill for a stranger, which is understandable if you're on a tight budget. But yeah, a lot of restrooms are not there for you or me, and there is no free water out there, and I just can't imagine how difficult it would be being homeless. That is one of my biggest fears. It is everything I want to avoid is homelessness. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in February if we all get kicked out. I just don't see it, although it's the other thing I didn't see coming, but what if all of us become homeless in February all at once? Luckily, you know, I could go stay at a friend's house at first here. I could go stay at a friend's house on the mainland. I could survive it and not, you know, end up sleeping on a curb. I've got 2 cars I can sleep in. Maybe I'll get rid of one of them. Either way, I'll have a car I can sleep in. So it won't be the end of the world. But it'd be interesting to see what happens with all of us fire survivors who are put up in places like this, like me right now. Will we all get kicked out in February? Or will we be given another year? If we are kicked out, how's that going to work? And what are the streets going to look like? Right, in this small town, if suddenly 3,000 or 4,000 people all over the island are just on the streets with all of our belongings, you know, some people don't have cars, or their cars got burned up, or, you know, there's just a lot of different, and, you know, not everybody has it as good as me. Some people haven't gotten the resources that I guess 4,000 of us are getting now. A lot of people have left, so many people have left. So, anyway, all right. I think I'm done. But yeah, hopefully after I read this one book online, maybe I'll do it live. I don't know. Maybe not. But once I get this book read orally online, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman, maybe I'll start doing more books. I have a bunch of old books I got. After my mom died, I got a few old books that my daughter picked out when everyone was going through the rotation of going through all of her things and taking her things. So some of them are children's books, some of them are classics. Robinson Crusoe, fried green tomatoes. So, or no, how to eat fried worms, for instance. So maybe I'll keep reading books online. That'd be interesting. New kind of content to produce on my network channel here that has so many kinds of content. Well, I do need to put up some of my grandpa's home movies. Oh, I need to take another look at those ones from Duluth. I learned all about the iron ore that is mined in the Duluth area between Duluth and Michigan. That whole area is like known for its iron ore, producing huge amounts of it for our efforts to win World Wars I and II, and so on. So that was interesting. But I have footage from mines from that area, and I wonder if some of these are the mines that were mentioned in like the rest area history. I read some rest area history that talked a lot about the mines, specific mines, and I want to go back to my grandpa's home movies because he was a president of Bradley Mining Company, and went to that area just to visit mines, because that's what's fun for somebody who's the president of a mining company, going and looking at other people's mines. That's what's fun. So that's why I have a bunch of videos of that kind of thing, amongst all the other interesting videos. So I'm going to try to get some of my grandpa's home movies back up there for y'all. And thanks again for watching. If you want to have a great life, remember, don't gamble. Don't get sucked in to any of these advertisements for any gambling, right? FanDuel, DraftKings, all of it. If you live in Hawaii, do not vote for gambling to be brought here. We don't need it or want it. Legalize weed, that'd be cool. We don't need gambling. We have no gambling in the state of Hawaii, which is really good. I can't even play FanDuel if I want to, or DraftKings. It's probably saved me a lot, maybe a life. Um, so don't gamble. Don't put anything up your nose. What used to be recreational drugs are now Russian roulette. Don't do it. When I was a kid, the worst thing that could happen to you if you snorted some cocaine was you get the shits because there was some laxative in there. Now there could be fentanyl. That'll kill you. It's not fun. Don't do it. Just don't put nothing up your nose. Don't gamble. Don't take pills unless they're cannabis pills or cordyceps mushrooms. It's not really a pill. Those are just two plant products. But yeah, don't take pills, and avoid the wrong relationships. If you know anybody that's violent, don't spend time with them. Don't hang out with violent people. Okay? They're eventually going to turn that shit on you. So don't be surprised when it happens, because it will. So just punish the violent people you know by not spending time with them, because it's dangerous and not smart, and that's what needs to happen. And yeah, avoid the wrong relationships. You know, how many people have committed suicide or murder because they got in the wrong relationship with the wrong person, male or female, whatever. Can make people just batshit crazy. So if you can avoid the craziness of getting into the wrong relationships, you know, it is advisable. I am personally extremely cautious. I'd be happy if I never am in a relationship again, so long as I'm not in the wrong relationship. But it would be nice to be in one of the right ones, one that's meant to be. They do happen. I like to be optimistic, as we all should be. But certainly don't feel bad if you're not in a relationship, right? Be happy about it, because the simplicity is wonderful. So if you ever sense sadness or depression because you're not in a relationship, you need to rethink that. Look at it a whole nother way. God bless it. It is wonderful being alone. It's a little bit hard for my kids, I think, right now. But they need to learn how to be happy being alone. Because, yeah, if you know how unhappy you can be in the company of people who aren't nice, you've had really mean roommates or family members, parents, spouses, kids, whatever, that's a nightmare. So, yeah. So avoid that shit, and you'll probably have a good life. Obviously, and oils, the bad oils and the sugars. Try to exercise, eat right, smile at the world smile back, do no crime, do no harm. Easy, so easy to do less. Anyway, remember that. Just do less. When in doubt, do less. Make the world a better place and your life better by doing less. Okay, all right. Philosophy. Life coaching by Craig. Do less. I swear, I want to make a whole brand around doing less. Anyway, amongst other brands. Cash only. Yeah. Do no harm. Do no harm implies doing no crime, so it's kind of redundant. But if that was the one commandment we had, you know, as a nation, in every school, just do no harm. That's the commandment, the one commandment we need. We don't need none of the rest of them. They're all a little bit superfluous and weird, and they don't all make sense. And they're all being violated by the people who are trying to talk about putting them up in schools and shit. Nevertheless, if we just do no harm, that's, that would accomplish everything we need to accomplish. So, righteous rulers, love you guys. Oh, we got 8 people. 8 people, that's exciting. I'm excited. That's actually a lot. That's saying I'm getting, some views. And again, it's dark out. I didn't even turn on this light over here. I talked way too long. What time is it? Oh my God. 114 minutes? I don't know. Long time. I've been just blabbermouthing. But I've been avoiding the camera for a while. And time for me to snap out of it and get back to life and get back to making videos and having fun doing that and living a life worthy of some kind of cool video, you know what I mean? Like, because I just want to make beautiful videos of beautiful places. So that means I got to go there, right? That's how I designed my whole channel. So I would not want to do anything different in life and I would just have to bring my camera along and turn it on. So I got to do more of that. I got to get out, turn on my camera in places where I could teach you, you know. What else? Yeah, I want to get, yeah, anyway. So there's a lot else to talk about. And I think I've talked enough and for long enough. And thank you for your time once again. And I hope you all have a great day, a great life. I hope you are as lucky as I am. Remember to remember your ancestors. Think about your grandparents, your great-grandparents. Learn about them, talk about them. I think that's where all my good luck comes from. I'm not sure, but I'm very lucky. I can't explain my good luck, but pretty sure that's where it comes from. So I recommend you do similar, and hopefully you will have good luck too. And yes, that's something you can expect to see on this channel in my life. And if I do live videos, like when I was in the cemetery looking for my great-grandpa's grave, and I was giving up, about to quit, ready to leave, and then right then on the property drives the guy whose grandfather carried my great-grandpa's body and buried it. I guess the family continued the job of being the caretaker of the cemetery, right? The great-grandson of this other guy is running the cemetery still, just as his great-grandpa did, and he knows the story of my great-grandpa was murdered in Malta, Montana. But then that helped me discover Route 2, first cross-country road in the United States of America. It was a dirt road. It was sloppy when it was rainy, but people loved it. And like before even the Model A Ford, I think, that road existed. And the first 1918 roadside rest area in Michigan was built, and I found that, made a video of it. If you haven't seen it, it's one of my videos, one of my amazing videos. Another roadside park, one of the first ones. It has barbecue pits all over Michigan, barbecue pits at all of them, all over Nevada. Well, there's only a couple. Nevada rest areas suck, but several of them have barbecue pits at least. You can cook at them, and they have plumbing for the most part, or at least some water that you could filter. So that's, some of them don't even have water. They just have like a fancy permanent outhouse, you know, a bathroom with no plumbing, and that's it, with no water. Yeah, so shit. Hopefully I'll get a lot of shit done this week, and some good videos, because I need to get exercise, and I need to get my camera underwater. I just keep procrastinating on that. And maybe I'll make another long, all-day video of the scene out here. If the camera is completely stationary, it seems like filming live is tolerable, right? The image is tolerable. If the camera is moving at all, and its subjects are moving also, which is inevitably going to be the case, it comes out blurry and terrible. So at least that's filming with this iPhone SE. So maybe a nicer iPhone would do better, or maybe a different camera with a different system. But anyway, in this case, it's everything simplified, because there's infinite memory and it's immediately uploaded. So that is the beauty of filming live. In case you are building a YouTube channel and you don't know, that was an epiphany. Holy crap, after struggling with memory, you know, to discover that it can go infinite was pretty cool. So that's why this video is infinitely long. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks again for watching. And remember, go make sure you can vote, and that you're going to vote blue no matter who. Okay? And God bless America. And all you people in other foreign countries. If you're in Canada or Brazil or Holland or Russia or Japan, anywhere, we love you. Everybody love everybody, and make the world a better place by doing less, in case you're feeling like doing harm or crime. Okay, aloha. Let's see. Okay, I'm about to hit the button here. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go. Hitting the button. Okay, end.